right. Hello and welcome to the Organ Files podcast. We are back at the library today with another special guest interview. But first, our disclaimer. We are novice podcasters simply for entertainment and knowledge. If we misquote or offend, it was not on purpose. So please do not sue us. That is the goal. We're just here for entertainment, folks. Okay. Don't get upset. Don't get upset. Today we have a great interview lined up with Joe. But first, my co-host, Elliot Bowman.
Thank you so much, Mark. And I like to also add, we are not only novice podcasters, but we're also novice buffoon podcasters.
That's right. We would call the buffoon label.
Right. So we apologize for folks that listened out there. And if we lower your IQ, that is not our intention. We try to be a bright spot in your day if you listen to us. And if you do listen to us, check us out on YouTube. Mark puts it out there, does a great job. Anywhere you get your podcast, you can listen to us. We got a website, www.theorganfilespodcast.com. Fall's right around the corner sometime after this warm weather. If you want to get a hoodie, please check out. We have a little merch on there or t-shirts. But like Mark said, we're keeping it going with our barber edition. Apparently,
Yes.
We had my barber on a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month now, and then we're talking to Joe today. Very cool for him to stop by during his day, and we'll get to know and talk to him. And I'll hand it back over to Mark here.
All right, Joe, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
My name is Joe McCargar. I've been professional stylist for about 38 years.
Very nice. Hey, that worked. Okay, so now you're also, so we know you're at Master Cuts Wednesday. I'm sorry, Master Cuts Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday.
Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, no Friday.
No Friday.
Screw that. That's Fridays are your days, and you take them.
Right.
I love it. And then you're also an artist. I've seen some of your paintings. You showed me phenomenal artwork.
Thank you, sir.
Very nice. And then you're also a musician as well.
Yeah.
I love it.
Playing guitar since I was 10 years old.
I love it. All right, we're going to dive into some of the stuff. Now, first of all, did you grow up in this area?
I grew up outside of Drain, kind of north of here, kind of go towards the coast. I was a country bumpkin.
Okay. All right, grew up in Drain. So you went to school there?
I went to grade school, and then we moved to Medford, Oregon when I was going into 5th grade.
Okay.
So a little change from like having no neighbors to having neighbors.
Right? Yeah.
Did you ever go to the Roadkill Cafe in Drain?
I did not.
Drain used to have a cafe called Roadkill Cafe.
Yeah, but
years ago
after I left.
Yeah.
Great name for a cafe in Drain.
Right. I think we did. We did an episode on the Applegates. Wasn't that in Drain?
Yeah, the Applegates had a property in Drain. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, right outside there. Once again, though, if that's wrong, folks, and you're gonna audit this, we're terribly sorry. It was in a book at the library.
Right.
All right. So, let's give me a little overview of your life. What have you done? You got kids? Who's Joe?
Yeah, I've got a son who
Joe?
just turned 18 this summer. He's now a practicing adult.
I'm
an adult. I'm like, no, I'm almost 57 this time. I'm like, I'm still practicing. Yeah, like I said, I'm an artist, musician. I've been painting and drawing since I was a kid, playing guitar since I was 10.
Nice.
Been in tons of bands. I started my first band, I was like 14, I think.
Nice.
I think we were called some boss named like Adam 12 or something like that. Then we moved on to our first real band. It was called Society Threat. And that got huge, up and down the West Coast, into the Midwest, riding bands from all over the world, playing Ashland. It was pretty cool. I have lots of people I know who are actually real rock stars. I'm just not one of them.
I love it.
It was just saying the music business, keep your day job.
Yeah. So how did you get, how did you go from starting a band locally to kind of getting into like the bigger music scene and kind of getting discovered and finding a way to kind of tour?
I mean, back then, because there was no cell phones, there was no internet.
Yeah.
You made demos and cassettes.
Yeah.
Or you pressed 45 if you could have enough money to do that. We used to get some stuff pressed in San Francisco and, started by friends that worked at Fat Records, XML.
I love it.
That's Fat Mike from NoFX.
Okay.
wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah, good friends of mine. They did their very first show on their very first tour in Ashland. I've been friends with them since. Done some tours with them, and yeah. You like NoFX.
Oh, that is awesome. Yeah.
They even came up and did when my sister had cancer. They came up, had an extra show to their tour. Came up to Portland, did the show, and donated all the money to her.
Oh wow.
And she did like t-shirts for them, record label, record designs, things like that. And so she was a graphic artist. So yeah,
Love it.
yeah, just the whole got some Pearl Jam. We're in a band called Green River. Used to sleep on my couch. It's
Man.
Yeah, it was a cool time back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I've recently had all these Gen Xers in my chair, which I love. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
people that actually get my references.
No, first time I got a haircut from you, I was just blown away by you just telling cool old stories, and that's what wrote me. And then you gave me a heck of a haircut and a beard trim.
Right, sir.
And then my wife is the first time she gave me a compliment because, hey, your beard looks good, and she goes, whoever did that, you're going to see him again. So, okay, the music scene. Who else did you guys play with? You said because you've talked names like with you. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think all the different band names because you were at the show with Kiss at the Armory, wasn't it?
Yeah, Medford Armory. I was crazy. It was just a big giant brawl. It was like, I was 13, my friend Mark was 14, and we just stood against the wall like going, we're going to die. We're going to die. Yay, Kiss! I saw an interview with Paul Stanley like 15, 20 years ago, and these guys have played every nook and cranny of the globe. And they asked him, what was the wildest show you've ever played? He's like, he didn't even say. He's like, Medford, Oregon back in the late 70s. It was a giant fight. I was like, oh, no way, man. He remembers.
That's crazy.
I mean, everyone I've ever talked to who's at the show was like, remember all the fights? I'm like, yeah. I thought he was going to die.
Just one dude starting a fight and just...
It was just, and this is before mosh pits and slam dancing. I was just, people got riled up.
Yeah.
And just going for broke.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't they have like the Hells Angels for like the security, and they just pulled no punches?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
There are a lot of bikers in Southern Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember we had, I used to work at the Brit Festival, and we had B.B. King play. And I swear to God, I'd never seen so much love in one place for like a show like that. I'm like, whoa, weird.
Huh. Have you played at a spot that you couldn't believe that you're playing at? Like, this place is awesome. Like, I can't believe I'm actually
I got
playing
to play
it.
at the Brit Festival. I used to work there as a teenager and tell my friends, someday I will play here. And they're like, sure, Joe. And so we had to open up for In Excess there. It was the first time back in the States after Michael's death. And got the gig. I'm like, calling people. I'm like, hey, I'm playing at the Brit Festival. We better go.
And it's the Rit Fest?
The Brit
Festival.
Yeah, they're in Jacksonville, Oregon.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a big one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's like 25 people max capacity.
Okay.
It was sold out. It was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it was great to walk on the stage with my guitar as opposed to walking out there dragging cables or,
All right.
doing things like that. So,
Man, that's cool.
yeah, it was a cool honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've got to play some really cool places. And we got to play places where like, they're like, we do bands here all the time. You show up to like a piece of plywood with carpet on it. Like, that's your stage. Cool. You PAs from Radio Shack, even better, man. Awesome.
Yeah. So were you a self-taught guitarist or
guitar players. I can't.
Yeah.
Big joke in the guitar player world is if you want a guitar player to turn down, you put sheet music in front of them. What's this?
Yeah.
I can play by ear.
Yeah.
I can hear G, C, D, A. That's not a problem. Then you figure out minor, sesses,
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah. So how do you kind of get into playing the guitar?
I saw my first electric guitar when I was 5 years old, and I was like seeing the Holy Grail. I was like, I'm doing that.
You saw it like in a window, like by a shop?
My mom's cousin had one.
Mom's cousin. Okay.
And it was just like, I was transfixed by it.
Yeah.
Of course, they made me take piano lessons, and again, I still can't.
Oh, really?
Bass, step, and treble, though. That's about it.
So you wanted to play the guitar, and they said, no, you're gonna take piano lessons.
If you don't play guitar, you have to know how to read music. Which is not the case. Said every guitar player on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
My only lessons I had this weighty Italian guitar teacher. It's like, what do you want to learn? I'm like, how about Tom Petty? He's like, no, Mary had a little lamb. Like, turns out Tom Petty's actually easier, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to learn Mary Had a Little Lamb. So lessons with him didn't last very long. My next one was, you guys ever see Finding Nemo?
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
The Turtle Dad. This guy was the Turtle Dad from the 80s.
Crush.
Except he was like rocker 80s. Permed hair, had the Eddie Van Halen Frankenstein guitar, spandex, shirt with the sleeves cut off, fucking shoes.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, well, my little bro, check this out. I didn't learn the damn thing, but he's fun to watch. He just noodled for an hour. I'm like, cool, man. I did, like I said, a friend showed me how to play a bar chord once. I'm like, ooh, I can make sound with 2 strings. Cool. And I was off and running after that.
Awesome.
That's cool.
And then you just kind of start tying everything together. You're like, well, if I even hit this note, does that note work? Like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, you just start figuring it out.
Yeah. Do you remember like the first musicians that you fell in love listening to?
Oh man. My parents had, for living out in the country, being kind of rednecky,
Mhm.
had pretty good musical taste. My mom was big on Elvis.
Yeah.
Like all the girls her age. So
Oh yeah.
grew up listening to Elvis, and of course that was a huge influence. Some mamas and papas, Johnny River. My dad was into surf music.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we had, I think the hardest thing I'd heard at that point was like Bachman Turner Overdrive. And I was like, yeah, you know. I was like 7 or 8. It was a year my parents bought us those old suitcase record players.
Yeah.
I bought us, my sister and I each one. It's because we leave with their records a lot. My aunt sent me some records, and 3 of them were Kiss records. My parents weren't going to let me listen to.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Because the devil's music.
Yeah, I finally got to listen to one, and it was like the most glorious thing I ever heard. Like, what is that guitar doing? Wow,
Yeah.
And then I opened up the first Kiss Alive one. I'm like, they do this? Like, there's explosions and costumes and fake blood. Holy yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I was floored. I was like, I listened to those albums forwards, backwards, sideways. I'm surprised they even played by the time I was like, we moved to Medford. And then I found out that everyone loved Kiss as much as I did. I was like, oh hell yeah, I'm not alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Expanded the population a little bit, and you found some more people.
I was like kind of different music, things that like I'm not a big fan of pop music. I gotta say, it's just kind of
Sure.
What feels like it's being spoon fed to the masses. There are some really good singers out there.
Yeah.
And definitely over the years, and that's pretty much where I listen to work. And there's definitely some singers I'm like, damn, that's good. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate what they do, but
Yeah.
it's like I'm not gonna buy a box set. I mean, like I love Pink. I think she's a badass.
Yeah.
I mean, that girl works harder than anybody out there.
Yeah.
And she's got good, strong songs, but
Yeah.
just like you said, but it's cool every now and then.
Pink's listening to this right now. She's gonna be like, "Dear Joe in Oregon Falls."
Right. I was there too at that Medford concert. Is it kind of tough to put a band together and just find a formula and hope that it all kind of works?
It's like having, depending on how many people in the band, it's like having extra girlfriends. The only real sex you're having is on stage. Like, I mean, it's true.
I love it.
And you go on tour and
Making music.
You're with the same people day in, day out.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of drinking and everything else comes from just absolute boredom and just being tired of the people you're around every day.
Yeah.
But you get used to it. It is hard. I've been trying to put together a band here at Roseburg, and I've not found people who don't want to play a cover band. I'm like, I don't want to be in a cover band.
We want original stuff.
Yeah, I want to make music. That's the joy of playing music, is making it.
Mhm.
And that's all I've done all my life.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, it's going to sound indicative of other sounds, but my ideas, my vibe, or collectively a vibe. That's the cool thing about getting people together and playing music is there's this thing I call it the band buzz. You turn on it, everyone's got the same stupid grin on their face at the same time. There's no denying it. We all look at each other like, that works, man. That is it. We're nailing this.
Like when you're playing it for rehearsing and stuff.
And it's just like, it's automatic. You just turn around and just like, everyone feels the same time. And just everyone has the same stupid look on their face. Like, yeah. And then it gets better from that point on.
Yeah.
But then you have things like break on stage or forget lyrics or forget what song you're playing.
Yeah.
Those things that go wrong.
So sorry, I don't know a ton, but when you've put out records in back in the day?
We put out like EPs back in the day. We did one CD, and then life kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
I also was a dad. So
sure,
music was definitely on the back burner for the last many years.
Yeah.
It was more important to be a dad than it was to be a rock star. So
sure.
And now he plays music, and he's
there. You go,
doing really good up in Portland, and
there you
go. He's got way better year than I had when I was a teenager, for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a really good kid, and it's fun watching him do it. And I love jamming with him. Oh my god!
Sounds like you got one band member there.
We keep talking that someday we're going to do something where we get together on stage, one of our bands, and just bring the person out and just have like 5-minute thing that we do.
Yeah,
and it's because we play off each other really, really.
Yeah.
And it's a cool vibe. It's like I don't have to second guess what he's doing. He doesn't have to second guess what I'm doing. But we've known each other all of our lives. So.
Sure. Right. Got a little biology there.
Tricks that I've
Right.
learned over the years. So
Right.
yeah. So
That's cool.
yeah, it's kind of like hearing a junior version of myself, but he's making his own ideas.
Yeah.
He has technology at his disposal now, which I did not.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's making he just released his own album out on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
What is Dirt God? I think is what it's called.
Dirt God.
Yeah.
All
This
right.
is solo stuff. It's kind of industrial, kind of vibey. There's a little bit
Okay.
of weird jazz thrown in there.
Okay.
Hey, there you go.
It's kind of
That's
cool.
cool.
Yeah, he did all the beats himself and all the music, all the vocals. And,
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You play any other instruments besides guitar?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can play drums, bass.
Oh, nice.
I'm okay at piano.
Yeah.
Couldn't write a song on piano, but I can find the chords, like play along, and I can, make melodies in between.
Yeah.
But sit down and write a song on piano, no.
Yeah.
Sit down and write a song on drums, no, not even.
Yeah. Which is tougher, drums or guitar?
But they're all tough.
Yeah.
I mean, drums. People that blow my. There's some people out there now. They just are mind-numbingly good. There's this Italian guy. Yes, I guess he's a new drummer for Slipknot. Actually,
Okay.
this guy with one hand. He usually sits there drinking coffee or smoking a cigarette, and he does the most complicated damn beats you've ever seen in your life.
What the heck?
And then other people
One
watch it and they're like,
hand?
this one guy's like, I quit playing drums right now. I mean, it's unbelievable what he can do with one hand. I can't even fathom him. And he's just so precise. He even did recently one where he had his hoodie on up over his face and sat there and played with one hand this entire song. Played like 3 minutes of it. And then he pulls his hoodie down. It's got the lining, the whole 9 yards. You couldn't have seen through that.
Man.
He smiles, like, when he pulls back, he keeps going.
What? I mean, what is that? Is that
That's
just
superhuman is what that
Yeah.
is, dude.
That's
just
wild.
insane
Like
talent?
guitar players like that too. And I'm like, I don't even want to try to play with you because you're too good.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you're going to take all the joy out of this because you are just going to blow the doors off of what I can do. So,
You have a favorite guitar player of all time?
man,
Good
I'd
question.
say one of the biggest influences, and it's funny because Dave Grohl.
Oh,
does
sure. I love Dave
this
Grohl.
guy too. As Bob Mould, Husker Du.
Yes.
Yeah. I learned a lot of my songwriting ideas from Bob.
Yeah.
Husker Du, like Zen Arcade, I think was one of the most brilliant albums of its time. They experimented in the studio doing things that like some bands in the 70s kind of poked at a little bit, but they took that and just kind of warped it and then threw in the punk rock on top of it. But it was like, it had this emotional content to it that you're punk rock, F Authority and, Mom and Dad Suck. And
Yeah.
it was a, kind of the punk rock vibe, six pack TV party tonight, six pack, whatever. But I learned a lot of my songwriting cues from that. And then I was funny because I was watching this interview with Dave Grohl and he was like, give big props to him. He's like, yeah, man, Bob Mould was like one of the first person. I'm like, that's a songwriter. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, damn, okay. It just to flow and, bringing things just instead of just a straight grind. And, and growing up listening to classic rock too. There's a lot of that. I think it's still one of my favorite songs ever recorded. It's got to be 3 Days by Jane's Addiction. It's
Ooh,
just
yeah.
epic.
Yeah.
But they build that emotional content to that song.
Right.
Yeah.
And they just break it down to this point where it's just low, dark,
Right.
big, and all it expands and it just explodes even more. It's like, oh, hell yeah. And I've seen them do it out live and I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh, it was pretty
Good band.
I think one of my favorite shows, Child Center in Portland. If you ever get a chance to see a show there, that place has amazing acoustics. Jane's Addiction was the headliner, the Pixies were the middle band, and Primus, which none of us had ever heard of, was the opener.
Wow.
Primus came out and played, we're like, they got off after a half hour, like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
come back. They
Rewind.
kind of blew, they set the tone.
Yeah.
That was a hard act to follow. The Pixies came out and rocked, and Jane's Addiction just blew the doors off the place.
Yeah.
It was probably just like two of my favorite bands, Pixies and Jane's Addiction. Yeah. And then just Primus was like icing on the cake.
That's an amazing show. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Is that your favorite show you've been to?
It's been
So many shows. When's the last show you've been to?
oh God. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I've been to some local shows here.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite local band here? Or favorite musician?
Heard a little band.
No.
I've heard some local cover bands.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been offered to play with people, and I'm like, I don't want to do wineries and birthdays. I'm like, I'm
Right.
cool, man. I just rather play Madison Square Bedroom, as I call it.
Madison Square.
So good.
I mean, that's what it is. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm rocking out by myself. I'm making myself happy today. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the neighbors like it too, so that's good.
That's cool.
Yeah, they don't care if I turn up, so I like that part.
Yeah.
Go massage my kneecaps for a half hour, you know.
Yeah.
Man.
So how'd you get into the painting?
I've done that ever since I was a kid. Living out in the country, we didn't get TV, so you just kept yourself entertained. Either you played outside, and during the winter it was too freaking cold and rainy and muddy, and so you stayed inside. I played with Legos and I drew, and then got into watercolor paints. That's all the paints that let's have in the house.
Yeah.
9th and 10th grade. Actually, my only real art teacher that really made a huge difference, this woman named Judy Morris. She went on to become like a nationally acclaimed watercolor artist.
Okay.
We were doing watercolors, and she asked me to stay after class. I was like, oh God, am I in trouble? And she's like, you're not in trouble. Don't worry. She's like, I think you have a knack for this medium. Do you want to learn the medium? She's like, I'm not going to teach you to paint like I paint. My twin sister already does that. She says, but I'll show you the papers, the pigments, the mediums, the brushes, the brush techniques. The only thing I request is that you do 3 paintings and you have them done by Friday, and we'll critique them. So I did 15 or 20 paintings. But all I had to do was sit in the corner and paint. Like all 9th and 10th grade. It was awesome.
That's cool.
And then she relayed this information onto my junior and senior art teacher, and I pretty much just kind of had free studies for a couple hours. It was awesome. I just sit and paint, and I use their supplies, and that was even better.
There's got to be like a correlation between being musically talented and being creative in art too, right?
I don't know, like music and math are the same part of the brain.
Yeah.
I definitely think, people like me are more right-brained than anything.
What hand do you write with?
I'm actually pretty ambidextrous. I
Are
started
you?
out as a lefty, but first year kindergarten teacher who didn't know how to teach me how to write left-handed, so she me right-handed.
Yeah.
So basically my right hand kind of looks like that of an axe murder. But I can draw with my left hand. I've learned how to draw with both hands.
Yeah.
I used to sit and, like, my son's mom would be asleep, and I'd draw with one hand, I'd draw her with the left hand, and I'd draw with the right hand. They looked similar, but different. That was weird.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sometimes when my arm gets tired, I'll be working on a big piece, I'll switch hands and start painting with the other one.
Nice.
I don't really think about it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now I'm going to use my left. It's like, I switch hands, and I just go, it's the same. It's like playing guitar. It's like you're moving both hands at the same time. So it's,
That's true.
Doing hair is, I'm
Yeah.
constantly moving both hands.
Right.
I don't sit and watch TV. Like, for me, sitting is stopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm stopping now.
Do you bring your art to go? Like, do you go places and look for inspiration?
Sometimes I mostly do more abstract work now. But every now and then it's fun to go just do a plein air painting.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot when I was camping, but I usually take watercolors. It's not
Nice.
as messy, and I don't have to worry about leaving turpentine anywhere, anything like that.
Yeah. Do you play the guitar with one hand, painting the other one?
That I've not figured out yet. I could probably,
Maybe drum with one hand and paint with the other one.
Well, I can play drums on it.
There you go.
There you go.
There's some kids out there. There's this kid. I think he's also Italian. I have no idea how he does what he does with his hands. But he plays acoustic. And this kid, he's very polished looking. He's this kind of foofy, almost 80s pompadour. But he plays classical two-handed tapping and uses the guitar like a drum, and he's all
What
of it,
the-
getting different tones out of it. This is probably like $8,000 or $10,000 guitar easy.
Oh my gosh.
And so just the wood's beautiful,
Yeah.
but it's all over it. And he's just making sounds and they're beautiful. And he also he was doing a George Michael song where to get the note, he was tuning down as he's hitting the note. It's like, brrr, and I'm hitting it nail on the time. I'm like, you jerk.
That's wild. I love it.
Yeah. It was something he definitely was practiced the hell out of. So.
Yeah. Do you have a musician or a band that you would love to play with?
Oh God. I think it would probably be like one of the Kick-Ass drummers more than anything.
Yeah.
because I mean, it's having a good rhythm section when you're playing guitar is tantamount to you being able to play more.
Yeah.
You know, if you kind of keep having to wonder where the backbone of what you're doing is, like having a good bass player and a good drummer is just there's having a bad bass player and a bad drummer is there's nothing worse because you can be the best guitar player in the world, but those guys are just kind of they're making everything kind of boom and be weird, whereas they're just on the beat all the time and they're making that pocket happen. So they make that pocket for the guitar to sit in or the vocals to sit in. So yeah, I would play something like Neil Peart or Dave Grohl, you know,
Sure.
late Taylor Hawkins.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah. Taylor
Those kids were damn good too.
Yeah, Taylor was a great drummer.
Yeah.
Isn't Fleet's not the drummer of Red Hot Chili Peppers, is he?
Bass player.
He's bass player.
He's
That's
bass
right.
player, yeah.
Chad.
That's right. Chad
Yeah,
said.
yeah,
That's right.
He looks like Will Ferrell.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Man, the best drummer I ever saw, I've only been to a couple concerts, but it was Dragon Force of a Wow Hall in Eugene. And I remember that they went to intermission, so most of the band cleared the stage, but the drummer stayed out there and he goes, yell out any type of theme song and I'll play it on the drums. And somebody yelled out The Simpsons. And so this drummer played the Simpsons theme song on the drums.
Nice.
It was just awesome. And of course, people were shouting out weird stuff after that, you know, but nah, that was the only one.
Actually, one of the cool, we had Steve, oh God, what's the singer for Wilco?
Oh, I have no idea. Wilco?
Jeff Tweedy. Jeff
Okay.
Tweedy was playing, and his drummer, the percussionist, was the opening act. And this guy was phenomenal. I mean, he could do these polyrhythms that were just mind blowing. But at one point, he uncovers this tray, and it's got you guys would be like an Asian novelty shop. They have those little brocade boxes that sound like crickets when you open those.
Yeah.
He's got about 25 of those on the thing, and he opens about 10 of them. And he starts just, finding a rhythm with that.
What
And
the?
then he opens a few more, and he's like,
What?
and next thing he builds this entire rhythm off of those.
That's
freaking
wild.
And I'm like, holy crap, that is cool as hell, man. Like, and then he had electronic drums going with that too. And it was fun. I mean, it was like you felt kind of energized by the time he was done. It was like Jeff Tweedy was like, whatever. Bring out the drummer again.
Love it.
The drummer from Dave Matthews.
I've seen him live. I've seen him live.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Dave Matthews at Good Times in Eugene
Yeah.
about a year before they got big.
Oh, wow.
And my friend's like going, he's like, man, you should come. But same thing with Blind Melon at the Wall. He mentioned the Wall. I've seen some amazing shows there. Holy crap. But they're playing Good Times. It was pretty packed, but it was amazing. I would never heard them before. I'm like, I got a violin. Oh, that sounds so cool.
Yeah.
It was such a different sound for the time. And of course, he's a great performer.
Yeah. I
A
saw him.
year later, they were just everywhere.
Yeah.
I saw him I think it was 1999 or 2000. I saw him at Madison Square Gardens. I saw him, but it was a fiddle player he had with him, and that guy just 15, 20 minutes just jammed. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, that's it. I was just talking to my wife was just mentioning Dave Matthews the other day because she kind of stumbled across him, and she hasn't really heard a lot about him. But hey, that's a good band too.
Yeah. There's just so many bands like it.
You have a favorite like from like the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s? You have, I mean, what to you like stands out between all those like decades of like what makes the best decade of music? Because people always say, the 60s were the best music, the 70s had the best, the 80s.
I think the 60s were great because we were starting to have innovations in gear.
Yeah.
And that changed music a lot.
Right.
That in its own right. The introduction of guitar sounds, like flange or distortion or fuzz.
Yeah.
And the human ear loves distorted guitar. I don't know what it is, but our ear loves it for some reason. And, then of course, as, you got a little more into the late 70s, early 80s, you had bands like Ramones and things like that, where they're taking those amplifiers and just putting them on 10. Like, it's like we're playing loud. But it was great. I mean, it was, I don't know, it was so fun. I mean, the 70s, people were starting to rock.
Right.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about the show. It was about the music. You went to a concert, you saw a band. Maybe you didn't see a show.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys came out, they rocked, and when it was done, they were done.
Right.
I mean, it's still kind of that way, but now, like, you have things like the Sphere in Vegas.
Right.
Jeez. Every time I see a video from that, I'm like, I would be so intimidated to play there. I'm like,
It's huge.
80 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. That would, That'd be great.
And then I guess 80s was turned. Is that you think that's when it turned into more like shows? Like,
Well, you started getting into the pop became a thing. And
Yeah.
MTV, you know.
all right.
Yeah.
Or MTV kind of made it into more like huge mainstream, right, for everyone to see,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and
VH.
of course, you know,
VH1.
they went for the teenage, you know,
Right.
you know, spoon feed the masses.
Yeah.
You know, feed them poppy, sugary slop, and they did that. I mean, there's some great bands from back then too. I mean, there's some great songs. 99 Red Balloons.
Oh yeah. Right.
I mean, how many versions of that have you heard since?
Oh, yeah,
And all of
yeah.
them have been good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a great
Yeah,
example.
bands like Flock of Seals, yeah, the whole punk movement. And there was so
Yeah.
much great music came out of that.
Yeah.
When you think about everything that came out of punk rock, you know.
All right. Green Day's still going too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, all these bands that, you know, evolved from like punk rock to rock metal to thrash metal to speed metal to hardcore, this and that. I mean, it kept morphing. And now, you know, the country is taking over, you know, the mainstream sound, which I think is hysterical. But,
Yeah.
like, great. And what do you get when you play a country music album backwards?
Don't you get your dog back, your truck back, and your wife back?
Quit drinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quit drinking. Yeah.
That's a good
God,
one.
yeah.
That's
Love that
funny.
one.
So how'd you go from rock and roll? I mean, you still play and you're still a artist. How'd you go from that to being a hairstylist?
I've been in punk rock bands.
Yeah.
I was always cutting my friend's hair. I mean, none of the hairstylists out there would do what we wanted, or even I got chased out of a salon, asked for a mohawk once. The guy's like, "Get out of my salon!"
Really? You're like, I want a mohawk, and he said, "Get out of here!
Yeah, they were
Get out of here, punk!"
50s, which I
Yeah.
like. My dad and his brother probably had one. But yeah, so we just started hacking on each other's hair, and I, you know, being an artist, kind of had an eye for shapes and, you know,
Yeah.
just another medium. I mean, as far as I was concerned.
Yeah.
I used to date this girl. She actually became a hairstylist herself, but she was Hispanic, Filipino, and Hawaiian.
Yeah.
But I'd spend like 2 hours sculpting her hair. And anytime a hairstylist saw her hair, like, who does your hair? Like, oh, my boyfriend. Like, yeah. So I have 2 years college. I was bored out of my mind. And she's like, you really need to do hair. I'm like, all right. And here I am 38 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was your first shop at?
The only shop I've ever owned, I worked in Medford after I graduated school down there.
Yeah.
Then with Eugene, I owned my own shop after about 10 years of being in Eugene. And we had it for about 12 years. And then we had new building owners from California who had to raise my lease an exceptional amount.
Ugh.
That's great because it sat empty for 5 years. I'm like, well, you guys shut yourself in the foot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's a brew pub, and yeah, that's
Of course.
a recession-proof industry. So
Yeah.
it is. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, what stores were open during COVID? Liquor stores and the grocery stores.
All right.
True.
And the weed stores.
Yeah.
All right.
But if
All
you
the
wanted a haircut,
essentials,
you had to
yep.
meet me in an alley with unmarked bills.
No kidding, right? Oh my gosh.
Or home visits.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so
Man.
funny.
So
Yeah, go ahead. No,
go ahead,
you.
Mark.
I was gonna ask. Okay, you had this the story with Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
Can you relay that one again? God, I love that one.
Nicest guy. He at one point I was in charge of security for the Cutbury Amphitheater in Eugene, and he played, and just a really nice guy. Like, he walked over out of his way to shake my hand. He's like, "Hey man, thanks for working tonight, young man." I'm like, "Okay, that was cool." Like one of the few times I ever got starstruck. I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, that was cool." Just a real nice guy. He had one of his sons, I think, Micah, who now sounds like his dad. If you guys ever get a chance, go look on whatever and find Micah singing with his dad. He sounds like him to a T. But
Wow.
just a really cool guy. He was just really nice to everyone. There's some other ones like we had oh my god, who sang Wreck to the Evan Fitzgerald? Gordon Lightfoot.
There you go. Yeah. That's took my time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know about. But he played there, and I was being in charge. I had access to the hospitality yard, and our caterers were pretty badass. So down there eating, and they all come in, and they're like, I had these big 8-foot tables, and they all sit down at tables, and we're like, "Oh, hey, I'll take this to the office." And they're like, "No, man, you can stay here." I'm like, cool. So I'm trying to eat, and they're almost in a bite in my mouth. And he asked me another question. I'm like, okay. He's like, "Listen, man, I mean, I'm trying to eat, but like about a year and a half ago, I had a massive stroke, and the doctors told me I'd never do this again." He says, and I used to be kind of an introvert, you know, especially as I got older. He says, but now I kind of want to meet everybody I can, just in case I can't next year.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool, man. I'm like, you know, and I've had a couple of those myself, so I understand.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh,
So you've cut celebrities' hair?
no, I'm people in bands, but
Nah.
nothing that exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never had a, you know, Never had anybody super famous in my show.
Yeah.
Talked to people who were famous before, but
Sure. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So now we're going to ask about, this is one of our biggest parts of the podcast. Have you ever had any paranormal experiences?
Oh man, you know,
Yeah, all the years of touring, you got to have
Right?
something.
Yeah.
Staying in old hotels.
well, you know, it's funny. It was
Ghosts.
actually an old house that I lived in Portland. The house was about 115 years old.
Oh, that's
The only house that I thought it was a reoccurring dream because it happened so many times.
Oh,
Because I have really intense dreams. You know, I can wake up sometimes going, "What the hell was that?" That there was one I was for sure I was awake when it happened. But it always felt like first it felt like two big dogs climb on the bed.
Ooh.
And so weights down the blankets so I can't move.
Yeah.
And then a woman comes into the room and sits at the end of the bed. And it wasn't like it's like a kind of mother appearance. She never spoke to me or anything, and it wasn't anything scary or weird. And then just all of a sudden they would go away. And it was just like,
that happened all the time.
Yeah, look, his hair stood up. Holy mackerel.
It would happen to me like,
That is creepy.
and sometimes I just got used to it, but it's never like, I mean,
You never
I've
did.
done lots of crazy crap in my life.
Yeah.
Nothing just freaks me out. Like,
Yeah.
You know, you just go Burning Man for 9 years straight.
Oh man.
Yeah, nothing weirds me out.
Anything crazy from Burning Man? The craziest stories from Burning Man?
So I had this band called Start Craving Naked.
Start Craving Naked?
Yeah.
Great band name.
What a
Only
great
as
band
naked
name.
as the- only as
Start
naked as the
Craving.
audience does.
Love it.
We had picnic.
Can only imagine how you come up with that name.
Yeah. I used to have no shame in my game.
Yeah.
We were playing friends from Ashland who family builds geodesic domes, and they brought up these temporary 50-foot geodesic domes. So big, you know, you get a lot of people in there. And we're playing inside of them, and this dust storm kicks up, and we had like probably 400 or 500 people jammed to this thing. I mean,
What the heck? You're
was-
playing one of these old cool domes?
Yeah, it was a big 50-foot.
What
Yeah.
the heck?
So, you know, and we said our band's name was Start Craving Naked, and somebody was like, "You guys are naked." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm only as naked as you guys do." You know, I'm never even thought we were Burning Man.
Oh, no.
So I made it, but I have literally got 400 or 500 people in front of me dancing naked. It is
What
the
the
funniest
heck?
damn thing you've ever seen in your life. Things just flopping all over the place. You know, there's glow sticks battling each other. You know, just appendages go moving every which direction. You know,
That is amazing.
and, you know, I'm saying I'm buck-ass naked. So I got my guitar with my junk. So
Yeah.
whatever. I don't care.
What the heck?
Yeah.
So when the music stops, it's like, now what? Party?
Like I said, it's Burning Man. So you know,
Right.
yeah, we'll leave out those details.
Yeah.
For 3 years in a row, we built this camp. Our theme camp was the Swingers Island. We had a zip line from 2.5 stories above ground. Our zip line was, our scaffolding was 3 stories tall. But you went 80 yards in less than 5 seconds.
Oh my
We had
god.
that thing tight, harness, no safety nets.
Oh
But,
my
you know, the end of it, we had 2 upright king size mattresses, California Kingston, a bunch of California Kings on the ground.
Perfect.
So you hit that, you do backflips off of it. You know, it's like, you're like, I'm gonna F that mattress up. You know, naked zip line day. I've
Oh
seen
my-
enough flying genitalia to last me a lifetime.
Naked ziplining. Those are probably things I would never do in my life.
You had your bug
Well, I've
flying
done
through the
zip lining.
desert. The worst time to fly through the desert. There's a naked guy in a.
Yeah,
man.
I'm sorry, but you're a Burning Man. You kind of stop carrying at one point. That or you go.
Yeah. Burning Man scares me because I've seen the lines of traffic getting in and out of that.
Oh yeah, the exodus getting out.
Yeah. I mean,
There's one
that's
year-
my worst nightmare is traffic. I can't go there.
My truck idled and then barely moved, and so like it was fine. Like I just sat there doing nothing for like most of it, and I noticed I had a feather duster in the truck. I had no idea how I got there, and I'm like, one of the girls jumped over. I'm like, "You drive," and I started going and dusting people's windows and side view mirrors. By the time they caught up with me, I got like 10 fists of booze, you know, a bunch of bracelets, all sorts of stuff, and I'm like, "Could I have tossed man?" Like you just survive. But you know, say, "Hey, thanks for leaving." You know,
Oh my gosh.
you just gotta make your own fun when you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember a punk rock song. I don't even remember who sang it, but there's a line of a song that says, "If you're bored, then you're boring."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've kind of plastered that to my life inside and out.
That's a good motto.
I think so. Like, I've never been bored. I mean, if I am bored, then I'm like, I need to find something to do.
Right?
I think that's from my Green Day song. Yeah. So if folks want to book a haircut with you, what's like kind of the best way to like get in your chair?
Call Master Guts.
Okay.
Anybody has time to book an appointment for you? Or,
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll-
Master
I'll-
Cuts and ask for Joe.
Next week, so
Yeah.
Master Cuts here in
Roseburg.
Roseburg.
Yeah, ask for Joe.
Ask for Joe.
Ask for Joe. That's the thing.
Yeah. Joe, what life advice would
Yeah.
you give your younger self? If we're on Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and you saw your younger self, Joe, what would you be telling younger self, Joe?
Oh, man, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
I
It is
thought
a
about
tough
that
one.
The other day, I'm like, I don't really know.
Don't change a thing.
Yeah.
No, I learned from all my mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, used to be a raging alcoholic. That was not a good part of my life, but definitely made strides in making that a better part of my life.
Sure.
That's awesome.
Definitely the point where I'm a grateful alcoholic now that I'm grateful that I don't think about it, want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if I would have partied less, that would have been good.
Yeah.
Probably save more money.
Yeah.
Save more money, drink less, you'd be
Yeah.
doing good.
I mean, is that really like hand in hand, kind of like rock and roll and just like partying? I mean, when those kind of go together, is it?
The 80s, man.
Yeah. It's just,
Me,
there was really no way to get around
I'm
it.
glad there was no cell phone cameras back in the
I
80s.
heard.
I was so glad. There's no incriminating
Social media.
Polaroids and no, thank God Polaroids fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't regret it. We had a great time.
Yeah.
Like we were kind of the feral generation.
Yeah.
No kidding, huh?
I mean, latchkey kids. No one cared about our grades.
Yeah.
We had to be home by midnight, or by when the lights came on. We kind of raised each other. We had our little gangs of friends, and that's what we did. All right. It was a fun time though.
Yeah.
And we got into partying. It was definitely mob mentality. We had the party system higher when we were kids. We had friend Mansfields. Their mom had a outdoor wine cellar, so we had a keg in there. Long drive, but we'd keep somebody. We'd go. My friend's dad was the manager of the Brew Festival, so we had keys to the Brew Festival. We go up there, sneak out their walkie-talkies, and so we have somebody out there
Look
in the
out.
drive. A lookout, yeah,
Yeah.
and somebody in the house. And somebody we
That's
constantly-
amazing.
People would be roving the party to making sure nothing in the house get trashed. People were having a good time.
Yeah.
Cops came out. Cops were there.
Yeah.
We'd
That is a
keg,
well-organized party.
Drunk people in a room. Everyone be drinking sodas. We'd still leave the stereo crank. Cops can play. Oh, we're just having a Christian rock party.
Christian.
Yes. Praise Jesus.
Leave a couple Bibles out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Who can?
You want to be dancing, have a great time. Okay,
That's amazing.
That's all. Can you turn down a little bit? Yeah, no.
Yeah, no problem.
Then we just go back to what we were doing.
That's amazing. Woodstock, the one in 1969 Woodstock, not the mess in the 90s. And what would you say if somebody could say, "I turn back the time for you," and you could be at Woodstock?
Oh damn! To play or just go?
To play or go?
Oh hell!
Just to be present during.
I think any part of that would have been cool, like support staff.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of just being in the mix of things. I don't think I would have wanted to have been an audience member. Like,
Right.
that looks a little hellish. but I gotta be
Right. 3
honest.
days of rain
I
and
mean,
mud.
yeah, I've seen some of the photos. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't care how high that still sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the line, you talk about lines of traffic. Holy crap, those people. Whew.
Yeah.
And those little cars, they broke down all over the place. So
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what kind of zoo that was getting out of there. But setting up something so raw and just over the top
All right.
and being any part of that, the central buzz of that would have been just mind blowing.
Yeah.
And just watching, all the people
musicians.
walk on
Oh,
stage
yeah.
and doing that.
All right.
Um,
Even seeing some of the Jimi Hendrix and
oh yeah.
Janis Joplin.
Janis Joplin.
You ever seen the movie
Yeah.
The Last Waltz?
I don't know if I've seen that.
You
No,
guys never
I've
The
seen.
Last Waltz.
Yeah, I've seen the documentaries on like the Woodstocks, but
No,
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
You guys' homework, you
Yeah.
we
let's,
got homework.
It's about the band called The Band. It was a
Okay.
show.
Okay.
And I mean, Neil Young, Neil Diamond,
Okay.
everyone made a cameo of that.
Okay.
I mean, it's great. Like
Oh, wow.
Neil Young walks on stage, cocaine crumbles are falling out of his nose. It's like,
Oh wow.
like, whoa, this is a rock show. Martin Scorsese, I believe it was. I want to say it was Scorsese that filmed it.
Oh
But
wow.
The entire thing was shot in one continuous shot.
Oh wow.
I mean, it cuts away to interviews and things.
yeah.
but the entire movie is
Oh,
shot.
that's cool.
Continuous shot.
Oh my gosh.
And the sound is great. The performances were over the top. I had Bob Dylan, you name it, everyone's there.
Yeah.
It was one of those cool, like 60, 70 shows that like I would have given eye teeth to go to.
Yeah.
The one concert I hear about, I've talked to clients that actually snuck into this. Like back in the late 70s, Pink Floyd and Queen played the Oregon State Fair.
Oh my God. They played the
What?
Oregon State Fair?
Floyd and Clean.
$4.
They played the Oregon
Snuck into that
State Fair.
show. I'm like, I hate you.
How did they play the Oregon State Fair?
That's amazing.
What
That's a show.
Who booked Queen and
They
Pink
just need
Floyd?
to be hugged and kissed.
That's
That is I had no idea that Queen and Pink Floyd played the Oregon State Fair.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah, I would have given my
what the heck year? What year was that? That had to have been.
wow.
late 70s, I'm sure.
Yeah. That's amazing.
That
That's-
is incredible.
bands like that, I mean, they weren't, this
Yeah.
were social media. Bands, the only
Yeah.
way they got known is to play
Right.
shows. I mean, like
Right.
back in our day, like, you gave out stickers and t-shirts and you plastered everywhere you went with your logo.
Right.
Yeah.
You gave out as many t-shirts as you could afford just so people would be seeing you. Like, who's
Right.
Society Thread or who's Striking Every Naked or
Yeah.
who's this band? Shameless self-promotion.
All right.
But yeah, you played wherever, whenever,
All right.
whatever you could. Like we've played in some pretty funky places.
Right.
We used to rehearse in a chicken coop of all places, just so we had a place to play.
Hey.
We cleaned all the
Yeah.
and it was summers in Southern Oregon, so it was like basically those hot houses you see
Right.
in the old prison movies. It was us, 14 years and sweating every part of our body, like cramming in the same
What
place.
the heck? Man, I think
Last time of our lives.
Queen's probably up there with one of the bands I would have loved to see
yeah.
live.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
My all-time favorite song is Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
My 3 rules about dating: a woman has to like the song Bohemian Rhapsody, animals, and garlic.
My dad was in the Navy in the 60s. He's from the East Coast, Pennsylvania area. And when he came home one of the weekends, his buddy was telling him, I got these tickets for this rock concert up in upstate New York. Do you want to go with me? And he goes, no, I'm going to go home and visit my mom. Well, he found out a few weeks later it was Woodstock.
Oh, man.
Wild.
I remember the first time he told me that, I was, you stupid son. Yeah, he had no idea. He's his buddy, just like, I'm going to go see a rock concert up in upstate New York. And he's like, I'm going to go home and see my mom. Because he was, time visiting his mom was on the weekends. He was in the Navy. He's like, I'm going to go see my mom. Had no idea it was Woodstock. Like, could you imagine missing out on that?
Yeah. One of the shows
It was crazy.
I almost didn't go to that I was really, really, really glad I went to. Blind Melon was playing in Eugene. Never heard of him.
Yeah.
My roommate's like, yeah, I heard them. I heard them in college radio. They're really good, man. Like, it was like $5. Like, it was a Sunday. I'm like, I don't really understand, man. I don't know. It's like, I'll buy beers. I'm like, cool, man. Yeah, I'll go. There's maybe 80 people, including the staff and their crew in Wow Hall. And these guys, best way to describe Blind Melon live back then was Grateful Dead meets Guns N' Roses.
What?
Wow.
I mean, there's the intensity they came out and they just destroyed.
That's
the place.
awesome.
Like literally, it was the CD of the month for like 3 months straight.
Yeah.
Well,
That's awesome.
They just melted our faces. Like, Shannon Hoon was a great. I mean, I saw Alice in Chains. I saw Black Flag. There were all sorts of stuff over the years. Some great shows there over here.
Well, good segue here.
Yeah.
If you had a dinner party and can invite 3 people,
Dead or alive.
dead or alive, who would you invite?
I thought about this earlier. Neil Peart, Johnny Cash, and Elvis.
Great answers.
I did. Neil Peart, just like back to the drummer thing.
Yeah.
I'd love to sit down and jam with him. Johnny Cash, I read his autobiography and
Yeah.
it was just, it's cool. Like 3 paragraphs in, you have Johnny Cash talking in your head.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, he actually narrated a children's book called The Bug That Went Around the World that came with this floppy blue 45. And it was him narrating the book.
What?
And I played that thing into submission, I'm sure. I found the book years ago and I gave it to my son. He's like, no way. He's got a frame on his wall. But I saw him at the Holt Center. That was pretty cool. Have you ever seen a show at the Holt Center?
Yeah.
I saw Page and Plant there and their backing band was Massive Attack. That was mind blowing. People walk out of concerts, usually everyone's like,
All right.
and people walked out there like, wow. I had this crazy light show, this laser light show that went with it. The whole center is designed for sound. It's like, sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Massive Attack's a really cool band. And to me, comboed with them was just, they kind of over the top. Okay. Um,
And Johnny Cash wrote a song about, or no, he didn't write a song about Roseburg, but he had like and one of his songs, he had a line about a train coming through Roseburg.
Right.
Yeah.
Lilyland or Lindy Land is what back in the day.
Yeah.
yeah. I guess,
It's kind of cool.
the artists will play just about anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, sometimes it was just getting to the town, was playing a show so you get gas money or a place to stay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that was the cool thing about like in our punk rock years. We always had a place to stay because there's always somebody like, yeah, man, you can crash on my couch. And sometimes you're like, oh, not had a hazmat suit. Yeah. Yeah, some of them were squats. Yeah, I think that.
Yeah.
There were some pretty scary moments. But we pulled up to one guy's house. Also, there's gunshots around the corner. Right? Is it safe? Yeah, Johnny Cash, Neil Peart, and Elvis.
That's
Awesome.
good. That's a good one.
Like, it'd just be fun just to sit and
Great dinner party.
sing in person.
right.
Yeah, right.
I mean, just hearing his voice resonating in front of you has got to be just one of the most mind blowing things.
Mhm.
That was almost my first concert. He played Austin Stadium in Eugene. My parents went with their friends, and because it was a school night, I didn't get to go.
Oh,
I was
wow.
pissed. Then he died.
I mean, oh,
Yeah.
man.
But yeah, wouldn't have been
Oh, my
Really good,
gosh.
Right? Yeah.
Elvis.
Yeah.
Fleetwood Mac was my first one.
Oh, nice.
Good one.
Schools out.
That's
Nice.
Yeah, that was
That's
Fleetwood
awesome.
Mac, and then Kiss was my second one. So,
Awesome.
yeah, I was sold after that. I'm like, I want to be doing what you guys are doing.
Kiss still tours, right? Are they still
I think
they still
finally.
Yeah.
called it
I mean,
quits?
Gene Simmons put that band so well together as far as making him money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the band, he just makes money hand over fist every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From all the merch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they've made Kiss everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty sure there's Kiss condoms. Even.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I saw there was a documentary recently on Netflix about Bob Weir and the Grateful Dead. And
Awesome.
as a parent, I cannot imagine he was 16 years old. He ran away with the Grateful, or his parents basically said, because he had all this energy and they didn't really know what to do with him. And he was just really into music, and he met Jerry Garcia, and his parents basically allowed him to kind of hit the road with Jerry Garcia and whatever the psychedelics or whatever they were called. I just could not imagine telling my 16-year-old, be like,
Yeah.
go
Have
ahead,
fun.
hit the
Yeah.
road.
Pretty much the same thing with Dave Grohl.
Amazing.
I mean,
Yeah.
he joined Nirvana and he's 16, 17.
Yeah.
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 It's
And all of a sudden
crazy.
he's just running around
Right.
the world.
Yeah.
I mean, and yeah.
And completely changed music and
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Grateful
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Hey, what do Grateful Dead fans dance like this? Keeps music out of their eyes. You ever been to a Dead show?
No.
I went to one in Eugene.
Yeah.
My band had come from Southern Oregon. We're playing there. And the promoter called me. He's like, hey, you guys want to go see the Grateful Dead? I'm like, I don't want to pay to go see Grateful Dead. It's like, no, man, I'll get you tickets. I'm like, cool. You know, they're playing a daytime show at Austin Stadium. And awesome people watching.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our roadie got dosed. So at the end of the show, we're trying to find him. And this guy still up to dance, and just saying, they've been loading stuff off stage for like 10 minutes. The band's been gone for 15. He's still up there just dancing. He's like, looks at the stage, he's like, no! He starts running the stage. Of course, security tackles him.
Oh my gosh.
We're out on the bike path. We're looking for our friends. So I remember there's this big, tall African American guy, long red locks, all just white robes still. Opium.
What the heck?
We're like, hey, man, you see this guy, bright red hair, leather jacket, spikes? So it's like, he'd be good on that job. We can start singing. Love it. Just lead to like, he'd be good on that job.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well,
Yeah.
we're down to the final two questions, right on
All right.
time.
Yes.
Favorite sandwich, Joe?
Ham and cheese, grilled ham and cheese on sourdough.
I love sourdough.
Can't go wrong with that. And then favorite movie.
Man.
It's a tough one.
I know you don't watch a lot of
Tough
TV.
one.
You said, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's got to be. There's two.
Okay.
One, just because we've watched at my friend Melissa's house. She was our first friend to get an apartment. The Holy Grail.
Okay. Monty
Python.
Python.
I can quote that movie forwards, backwards.
Good.
Yes.
Good movie.
We actually got to the point where we just had the sound off and we would quote the movie ourselves. Sometimes
Yes.
we make up our own lines. But that movie was a huge part of my
There you go.
formative years.
Yes.
You guys ever seen the movie Brazil?
Oh my gosh.
By oh god,
Terry.
Terry Gilliam. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie, I saw it in the theater when I was like around 1886, 87. Blew my mind. Like, that was just a cool movie.
I heard it's
so much social archetype for what's happening now. Yeah. Kind of like the movie Idiocracy.
Right? Yes.
Idiocracy is a much humorous version of that, but yeah, it was very impactful on me, and
Yeah.
it was so
Yeah.
amazingly shot. I mean, the dream sequences and everything else was third one, American Werewolf in London.
Okay.
I used to be to be a special effects movie makeup artist. I used to do appliances for people all the time, just make masks and shit like that.
Yeah.
That movie, the special effects of that movie were,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. His friend Jack that kept just decaying through the entire movie.
It's a good
Yeah.
classic.
Love it.
All right.
All right,
And then
Joe, did we get everything? Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, man.
I love it, buddy. Thanks so much for doing this. This is a lot of fun. Yeah.
I'm going to do some dad jokes real quick.
Oh,
I'm going to do some dad jokes. Three dad jokes. Three dad jokes. Why was the barber late to open his shop this morning? He overswept. These are terrible. Why did the barber go broke? Because he had too many expenses to comb through. Why did the barber open a bakery? Because he wanted to make some dough on the side. Those are, out of every single page I visited today, those are the best barber jet. Those are, they're terrible. Yeah, those are terrible. I should have just done that.
Yeah.
I should. It probably would have been better.
We're on board, but we had a few months to kill in Portland. We were like, hey Siri, tell us dad jokes.
Yeah.
What does the universe to hold its what does the universe use to hold up its pants? Asteroid belt.
That's good.
That works.
I mean,
Yeah, that
I
works.
should have guessed that one. That seemed a little obvious.
I love it.
Oh, what's your favorite letter?
R.
It's the C.
Oh,
Yeah, you made the guitar bits to see. Yeah.
We should know these by now. If you want to get a hold of the show, if you want to yell at us some more, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's the Oregon Files podcast at yahoo.com. You can check us anywhere you get your podcasts.
Yeah,
YouTube.
Broadcast this one.
Oh, we'll probably it'd probably give me a couple days to edit it, but honestly, there's not a whole lot I got to edit out, and then we'll get it put up there. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Joe, thank you so much, man. It was awesome to get to know you. I have a barber, but you're now my second favorite barber, so I appreciate time. And everyone have a good day.
Boom.
All right, guys, enjoy.
Sweet.